In this episode, Kentucky cars. Possibly no more right on red. And Blaine buys a puke. Welcome to episode 130 of the We Are Auto Show. What's up, Derek?
Mr. Michael Rowell. Over the past weekend, I was out in Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky.
Yes, and I asked you, what should I drive if I am driving through or driving around in the state of Kentucky?
There's only one correct answer.
Which was?
The Corvette.
The Corvette!
Yes, it's
Indeed.
where they're made. It's where they're built.
That was the correct answer. I have sad news for you. As I was there, I observed the local car culture.
Yo, did you?
There was none.
What?
There was none.
How are you going to tell me? There is no Corvettes in Kentucky.
I saw one. A singular Corvette over 3 days of being there.
Is it because most Corvette owners are older and don't want to live in Kentucky anymore? So now they all live near us?
I don't know. I would assume that they are retired.
Are Corvette owners like gooses and they migrate for the winter and they take their Corvettes with them?
Probably. But let me ask you this. Why would you have a Corvette in Kentucky?
To drive it.
Really? Is that the state you want to live in, to drive your Corvette?
Sure.
What happens in the winter?
It gets a bit chilly.
No, it gets very chilly.
It snows.
It snows. It sleets. It ices. It's not Corvette weather.
That's fine. They make snow tires.
Would you want to drive a Corvette in the snow?
Yes.
You're wild.
I would.
I could see you doing that. I don't know why.
I had some buddies in Colorado that would daily their Corvette in the snow in the winter.
That's ridiculous.
Their ski car was a Corvette.
But why would you not just be here down in Sarasota, Bradenton, sunny Florida, and enjoy the beaches with your Corvette?
Because beaches don't have twists and turns.
Yes, I agree with that. But you can at least, enjoy the car for over half the year.
Well, yeah.
It was weird. There was no car culture at all that I saw.
That's wild.
You know what there was, though?
What's that?
Truck culture.
Oh, yeah.
Rusty truck culture. Holy moly. Why is it that every single truck up in the northeast of the U.S. is just rusted from frame rail to frame rail and falling to bits?
I don't actually know because I feel like there's this thing that isn't a new thing. It's been around for a long while. It's called undercoating.
Yeah.
That's usually used before the snow season to undercoat the truck to keep it from rusting.
Right. I don't know if they know that exists, to be honest.
I don't know. Like, obviously something's going to rust because you can't undercoat everything. But, like, for real?
Every truck. Every single one. If it was not brand new, there was rust holes through the frame. Every one of them.
Ooh.
It was pretty wild.
Would you buy a car that has rust on it like that?
No. But you don't have to worry about that here down in Florida.
Unless it's a car that got brought down here from there.
Right. In which case you do, but it's kind of rare though. Somewhat.
Yeah.
Odd car culture up there. I will tell you, the car not to drive around Kentucky.
Oh.
The car I had.
Oh. What did you have?
I think it was a 2015 Ford Fusion S, the base model.
Oh, baby.
Let's go.
That's horrible.
It was terrible. It was very slow. It had terrible noises coming from all over the place. You could hear every single rock we ran over because the rear wheels had no plastic wheel liner. So it was straight onto metal, and it was ting, boom, bah, bang every time you touched a pebble.
I couldn't do that.
No, it wasn't good.
Just sounds like you're getting shot.
It was terrible.
Ooh.
I thought for a moment we had flat tires when we pulled out of the lot.
Really?
It was that noisy. It was bad.
Yeesh.
Overall, Kentucky trip was great. Got to play disc golf. Fall colors were amazing. But the car culture in Kentucky, doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
I'm curious, if you're watching on YouTube and you happen to have been through Kentucky, let us know. Do you have the same thoughts? Have you noticed any decent car culture? Or just send us a message on social, right? But if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment. Let us know. Any car culture in Kentucky? Who knows?
I could be wrong, but not that I saw.
Interesting. Well, let me pose you a question. Are there any laws that you think should stay or go when it comes to driving?
I'm not sure. No texting and driving.
Yes, I just wish that was enforced.
Right. It's not enforced. What do you have in mind?
So I bring this up because I did stumble upon an article that is saying that they're going to potentially, repeal the law that allows you to turn right on a red light here in the States.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently starting in D.C., so the capital of the U.S., the District of Columbia, they're calling it the Vision Zero Initiative to eliminate traffic fatalities, where cyclists are essentially being killed because they're getting run over from people doing a right on red. That's what I said.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about this. This is interesting.
I don't like this. I think turning right on red is a magical thing.
I agree with that.
It helps traffic flow more freely. The problem is most people don't turn right on red correctly.
No.
When you turn right on red, the reason why they're talking about repealing the whole turning right on red is because most people, when they turn right on red, they're only looking left for oncoming traffic.
Right.
And if you're looking left, you're looking left, you're looking left, you're looking left, you think, "Ooh, great, I have an opportunity. I'm going to go." But if you fail to look to the middle or to the right for cars either making a left from the other side of the road, a U-turn, or pedestrians, then you put yourself and others in a really bad spot.
Yes.
So apparently, and I've noticed this as well, just from where I'm driving, I'll be maybe making a perfectly fine and legal U-turn, right? All good to do it. But I can see the car turning right on red has zero clue that I exist.
Yes.
Does not acknowledge my existence at all. Which then makes you think,
In that situation, they're supposed to yield, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
I like to think of it this way. The car that has a red light has to yield to the car that has a green.
Right.
Duh.
Yes. But I bet you if you asked a lot of people that, they would not know.
They wouldn't have a clue.
No, they would have no clue. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of doing this across the nation. I'm not opposed to doing this in cities with lots, like New York City. I kind of get it.
There's a lot more pedestrians.
Right. It makes sense. In high traffic or high cyclist areas, it makes more sense. But out in rural Nebraska, why
Who cares?
prevent someone from going right on red? There's no cyclist.
Yeah.
I'm
going to go a little more into it than that. I'm going to say only in cities with I don't know, populations over 4 million or whatever the case it is.
Yeah, it I don't know. It'd be weird to have it like county or city dependent though, because
Well, hold on, because up in Canada, on the island of Montreal, you're not allowed to turn right on red in the island of Montreal. As soon as you get off the island, you can.
So how do they deal with that? Is every red light have a sign that says no red on red?
I don't recall, but they'd have to.
Okay. I guess if it's signed well enough and very abundantly clear that this area that you're in doesn't allow it, it's probably fine.
Maybe. I still don't really like it because it saves so much time turning red on red.
It does.
And I don't know if we can actually attribute the fact that cyclists are dying because people are doing it right on red, or if this is a question to actual driver knowledge and safety.
It's probably both.
Like, I don't think it's a right on red problem. I think it's just a driver problem.
Yes.
I think this is a distraction problem. I think this is a human mindset of impatience and ego problem.
Yes, but you can't impose legislation to fix that.
Impose legislation to fix someone from being a bit of a dick.
No, you have to educate them.
I don't like this whole get rid of right on red thing.
I don't think it's the best solution to the problem either. It is more likely that education and driving instructing is a better solution, but we know that doesn't solve everything.
No, nothing solves everything though.
No. I don't even, this isn't going to solve the problem of cyclists being killed on the road.
True.
It will solve the right on red cyclist problem.
Well, my question is, right on red with cyclists, are the cyclists doing everything correctly as well?
Probably not.
Like, are the cyclists crossing? Are they technically jaywalking? Are they? Yeah. What are we thinking? So I don't know. Can you think of any other laws that you think should be changed?
Off the top of my head, no. Do you know of any?
I think speed limits should be edited. I think speed limits in rural areas should be raised, where there's less of a threat of something to go wrong.
What?
Or maybe not that the limits should be raised, but the fines should be lowered.
Okay.
But only in certain areas.
What would you deem the area to be?
Rural counties with populations less than 500 or whatever the case is.
What are you doing? Bumping it up 10 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Does it make that much of a difference to go 10 miles an hour faster?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think speed limits are okay. They're not perfect, but it's usually like isolated incidents. Like there's a local road around here that they just went up 5 or 10 miles an hour and then they went back down 5 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. They're always adjusting those because people get riled up and whatnot. I don't know. This whole DC right turn on red thing's kind of, I don't think it's the best solution. And I don't think it should be nationwide. It should be like what Canada's doing, where it's pocketed to certain places.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want them. I know I'm going to sound like an old man, but I feel like they're cracking down on our freedoms to turn right on red.
Just gripping a little tighter.
Exactly. Go away, government. I'm sure my 3-letter alphabet soup agency watchdog is probably laughing at me right now.
Oh, yes, they are.
I hope he likes the memes that I send back and forth.
Hopefully.
All right, but let's move on. So let's talk about some car spots we've seen.
Sure.
I'll go first.
Go for it.
Okay, so this past weekend, I was working, and I was out all over the roads, and it just so happened to be kind of Porsche day for me. I don't know how, but it seemed like all of the Porsches were finding me.
Okay.
Because as soon as I turned off on my street, a modified GT3 drove past me. Sounded great. Nice exhaust, beautiful. Followed by that, shortly down the road, I also saw a 911 Carrera. I believe it was a GTS. I couldn't really tell from the badging, but 911 Carrera GTS with the factory ducktails. This was the 991.1 generation, which was the last of the naturally aspirated Carreras.
Okay.
Then I did see a Cayenne Turbo GT, which is their fancy schmancy super hot SUV. Mm-hmm. I saw an old air-cooled Targa. But then while I was putzing around, I drove past an exotic car dealership. So I technically can't claim this as a spot because it was at a dealership. But as I drove by, I was able to peer into the window. And I saw one of my most ultimate favorite cars to ever exist. The Carrera GT. Porsche's like ultimate supercar, hypercar.
Yes.
Mid-engined, naturally aspirated V10, manual gearbox. I had a poster of this car.
Mm-hmm.
This to me was always the epitome of car.
This is the Porsche supercar poster child.
Oh, yeah, and I had one as a poster on my wall.
you
Legitimately had a poster of the Carrera GT, and then I had another one of your favorite droopy headlight GT2.
Oh, great. But wasn't this thing like an absolute handful to drive?
Actually, no.
No?
I don't have first-hand experience, but from the reviews that I saw, I heard it to be not quite as handfully as more delicate.
Okay.
So twitchy in some places, but not quite as I'm gonna kill you like the original, like the 930 Turbo, which was the original Widowmaker, which was had just massive amount of boost that came in at a wall, and if it came in mid corner, you were going to die. It wasn't quite that fatal.
Okay. I thought I remember in the Top Gear review, it was Clarkson was just struggling with this thing.
From what I remember, he was loving it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was different car. Don't remember. But it is definitely the poster child for the Porsche enthusiast. And it's a pretty car.
God damn, I love that car so much.
Yeah.
It was this exact spec. GT Silver with the saddle interior. Can't
go wrong with that.
I love that car. And the center caps are correct in the picture.
Yep.
Porsche crest pointed to the valve stem.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. But yeah, so technically I can't call that my spot of the week because it was at a dealer as I drove past it. But I do have a pretty exciting spot of the week. My spot of the week goes to something that I've seen before, but it's different when you see it in the wild, just driving down the road. Right? There's a difference between seeing something at Cars and Coffee or at a dealer, and then something when you're not expecting it, and you're like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a different Ferrari SF90 Stradale, one I haven't seen yet. So around town, we had a white one that we've seen.
Yes.
And we've had a different red one that had the silver nose livery.
Right.
This was a different red SF90 Stradale. I believe it was painted in a color called Rosso Coburn. So it's more of a rich, more like a cherry red versus the standard Ferrari red.
Okay.
And I saw it just in the wild, just driving down heavy traffic down one of our main roads here. That is always special when I see something just in the wild, not expecting to see it.
Right. It is always that ooh moment.
Yeah. Like normally I'll see a Ferrari and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll see a Liberty. But this was different. This is the SF90 Stradale. This is essentially the $1 million Ferrari supercar. And that spec, oh, very, very, very good.
I think that's the best spec I've seen so far of that car.
Mm-hmm.
The white, it was okay.
The white's not bad.
The gray front with the red didn't really do it for me. This, though, this looks properly good.
Yeah, this particular red is very, very good.
Yes.
It's honestly the best way I can describe it is like a cherry red.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of flake. Just stunning. So that is my spot of the week. A Ferrari SF90 and I believe a Rosso Coburn spotted in the wild here in Sarasota, Florida.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so whilst you were up in Kentucky, did you happen to see anything that piqued your interest?
Oh, I spotted something with my little eye. Had some red accents on it.
Was it a Porsche?
It was not a Porsche.
Mm.
It was debatably better. Very debatably.
According to who?
You'll see in a second.
Okay.
This monster was absolutely hooning it to soccer practice up and down a mountain. Actually, it was just normally driving.
So it was a Urus then?
No, but close. Very close.
Okay, so an Audi RS Q8.
This was a accented red Nissan SUV that had a Nismo badge on
Oh,
it.
no. I'm not liking this. This is not good.
This is a Nissan Juke Nismo RS.
Oh, that's really bad.
It's really bad.
That's really, really bad.
To be honest, I didn't see much more interesting.
Hmm.
So, this was rolling up and down the mountains in Kentucky, which was very picturesque road, I will say that.
And you're over there saying that you shouldn't have a Corvette there.
You should have a Nissan Juke, or AKA Puke RS. Yeah, it was the Nismo version. It was the RS, which is kind of cool. This comes in making a whopping 215 horsepower from a 1.6 liter turbo inline 4.
Wow.
Not a whole lot,
That's
honestly.
Wow.
Making around 207 pound-feet of torque. It does come with an optional 6-speed manual.
Ooh, baby.
You could get a 6-speed in this. I don't honestly know if you would want one.
I wouldn't want it first to not want a 6-speed in it.
There's that part, but we'll gloss over that. Otherwise, it comes with a CVT, so you want the manual.
Oh, that's so bad. And I know that Nissan CVTs are some of the worst CVTs to have ever been created.
They're not fantastic. No.
I've heard that Nissan CVTs pretty much grenade at like 50,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's great.
Standard operating practice.
Yeah.
Curb weight, around 2,900 pounds, close to 3,000 pounds.
So with a human, 3,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Speedy, 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's fast, brother.
No.
Is that actually faster than the BRZ?
God, I hope so. I think it's very close.
You're going to go in a drag race
like
between the BRZ and the Nismo Puke RS.
Yeah. I got smoked by a Veloster. It's not fast. Let's be real. But this car spot was honestly, it was only interesting because it was the Nismo RS, and I think that those are relatively rare.
I got to ask, did this stick out like a sore thumb in Kentucky?
Absolutely.
This does not seem like a very Kentucky-ish kind of car to drive.
No, not at all. It was mainly just like big SUV after big SUV, which is fine.
Like,
It's
if
what
my
you would
name
expect.
is Ken from Kentucky, I'm not buying a Nismo RS Nissan Puke.
No. I don't really understand the appeal of this car. It's terribly ugly. I don't know of anyone who likes the look of this. Do you like the look of this?
No.
It's
I
awful.
think the only people that like the look of this are named Blaine.
Yes. Yes. Blaine does like the look of this. And is he trying to get a sports car?
No.
What are you trying to buy?
Blaine is really not trying to get a sports car. What Blaine is doing is Blaine is trying to get something that is different. Because Blaine is inherently different. Blaine likes odd things. And Blaine, if you're listening, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of you. But Blaine, I think this is a Blaine kind of a car.
This thing is weird, man.
I think you just described Blaine.
The performance difference between this car and the stock version is like 25 to 30 horsepower. It's not even a lot. I think that they did interior accenting in like not very much more, other than giving it a little bit of red around the exterior. Why did Nissan make this thing in general? I understand making the base one, but why make it a Nismo RS? The Nismo is the racing form of whatever you're doing. Why do you need to Nismo a Juke?
I agree. I did just do a quick Google because I was curious. How much does it cost?
Oof.
Because what else could you buy instead? What else could we recommend Blaine to buy?
How much does it cost?
So the Nismo RS version of the Nissan Juke costs $30,000. Could you imagine spending $30,000 on that? I'd rather spend $30,000 getting a keyhole vasectomy. That's god damn. I don't like this at all.
No.
I'd rather get kicked by a horse.
To be honest, I think I'd rather have a Ford Fusion.
Yeah,
That's a low bar to set. That's a low bar to set.
It's not very good.
No. But that was my car spot of the week. It was unique.
It's something. I'm not going to call that a car spot, but hey, it is what it is.
In Kentucky, it stuck out like a sore thumb.
I bet.
Yes. So let's move on to the I wish they would have.
'Kay.
Do you have a good one?
I do, actually. And I'm stealing this from your buddy. Your buddy just came over and said hi, and I asked him, what annoys you? And he told me something to do with the defrost or the defog. And I actually thought it was a good idea. It was brilliant, right? So I wish that you could simultaneously use the defog or defrost setting with your air conditioning while also still having AC blowing at you.
Ooh.
Right? So that way, in Florida, we get some of those heavy rainstorms, maybe in the summer, where your windows start to fog. And usually when we do that, it's not cold outside, right? But you've got to defog your windows. And to do that, you've got to turn the regular air conditioning to the defog setting. And typically you have to crank the heat.
Yep.
Which means you are becoming miserable for 10 minutes.
You get cooked.
Yes. I wish you could have the defog blasting the hot air, but also simultaneously have the AC blowing cold air at you directly so that you're not being cooked.
It seems like that should be possible.
Right? When he said something to that effect, I was like, actually, that's not a bad idea.
No, it's not. With all the vents that are in ACs these days, right? The compressor is giving you the cold side, and then your engine in an internal combustion engine is giving you the warm side.
Yeah.
So why don't you just adjust some valves and vents and blow the hot air here and the cold air over here?
Divert the hot this way, divert the cold that way, and you don't get cooked, and you get to be able to see.
Seems doable.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't do that, to be honest.
Because I've never been able to not be cooked while also defogging my windows.
And there's a sequence. You have to go turn the heat on, change it over to that, close the vents from you because you're going to get cooked. And then when you're done there, you got to undo all the things you just did.
It's a bit of a pain in the ass.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so that's my wish that would have stolen from your buddy. But do you happen to have one?
Yes. As I was in Kentucky, I noticed that every single truck and car that had any sort of metal exposed to anywhere in the elements was just gone and turned into this red material called rust.
Oh.
Yes. I wish that, particularly for trucks, that the manufacturers by default would coat them up north, or maybe the dealer does this. Somebody should coat the underside of the truck with the protection that you need for rust and salt.
Okay, so I got a little bit of a bone to pick here. Because while I haven't lived consistently in the Northeast, I have had some run-ins with people who have. And I've been told that undercoating that you're speaking of is oftentimes an option that you can purchase when you buy your car. But it's usually in a setting where it's as you're signing the final paperwork, and it's not for a reasonable sum. It's usually one of those things where sign up for the warranty, and we'll extend your warranty a couple extra years. Then you could also get this and that and that and this and this, and then the weather protection package and the door sill protection package, and then the floor liner protection package, and then the protection package for your protection, then the condom protection package, and all the protection packages, right? And it's usually added into like a random $4,000 or $5,000 upcharge that you end up paying out the ass for and financed in.
I see.
One of those.
I wish the manufacturers applied them.
Let me take this a step further. I wish that the actual frame would be made of some sort of metal that wouldn't rust.
You could try to go down the aluminum oxide path. Right?
I don't know. I just wish you could make steel that wouldn't rust.
I don't think it's worth going down that path for the manufacturer. I don't think that there's no cost savings. It's only hiking up the price.
I'm just saying. But yeah, I like where you're going with that, right? Is you just make it so that it's not going to rust.
It seems like it should be done. Considering how many vehicles up there are just rusted out, I'm shocked that it's not mandated by the state, sorted out by the DMV, insurance doesn't require it. I don't know. Just seems like a big pain in the butt, and I don't know why it's not solved. It's a solvable problem.
Oh, for sure. Because once the frame of your truck rusts, it just is fragile.
Yeah. You're in trouble.
Yep, I get it.
Nice.
All right, so then you got anything else?
I do not.
It's going to wrap us up then. Thank you so much for watching episode 130. Thanks for listening as well. All right, so if you're watching on YouTube, please leave us a thumbs up and drop a comment on the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well to the channel. If you're listening on audio only, please do leave us a 5-star rating and a review on your platform of choice, right? Apple or Spotify or Google or wherever. Don't forget to follow us on social. Facebook is We Are Auto. Instagram is We Are Auto _. YouTube is We Are Auto. And our website is weareauto.io, where you can go check out some of your favorite past races, sign up, and it'll actually keep your progress as of where you're watching the race. It's actually pretty cool. But again, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.